Hey everyone, my name is Wendy Lou. This is my first video on this channel, so I thought I'd leave a little introduction, a little bit about me. I am working on getting rid of this glare and the fact that you can see my computer screen and my glasses. Unfortunately, I do need my glasses to be able to read, and to see anything, otherwise it's a blur. If you guys have any tips or tricks on how to do that, let me know because I have not figured it out yet. I am doing my research about it and everything though, so eventually, hopefully, I will have it figured out. A little bit about me. I live here in Missouri at the moment. I am born and raised from Southern California. My father, who is a biker, he was born and raised in Upper Michigan. I tell you this because I will probably talk about him and refer to him a lot in these videos. I'm also a mother of two boys. I will not give their names on here, but they are my world. One's going to be 13 and the other is 18. I'll probably talk about them quite a bit too, refer to them on some of these things sometimes they'll help me with games and stuff like that, so you may hear me mention them. Um, I'm doing this to try it out, see what happens. Please be kind, especially as I'm learning these things here. It's a learning curve for me and everything. Other than that, I hope you guys enjoy the videos. I'm not sure what this channel is going to fully be yet. Today I'm gonna do an Am I an A-hole Reddit stories and see how that goes. I will try to post every other day if possible. At the moment, I'm pretty sure you can tell I don't seem to be sitting at home or anything like that. I am actually at work. So it's gonna look like this for at least this video. Please leave comments, please subscribe. I really would appreciate it. It helps me with the channel and it helps me be able to continue to make these videos. So I hope you really enjoy this. Awesome. All right, let's get into the first story. This one is from Reddit user Freud's Driver, and the title is Am I the A-hole for making my daughter's boyfriend buy a new t-shirt? Sounds interesting. Depends on what the t-shirt says. Okay, can you please settle a mild dispute from my family? The 23rd of December, my daughter's 19, boyfriend 19, came for dinner. We had a dinner then because he's going away with his family for Christmas. He arrived, rang the bell, and answered the door. He came in, took off his jacket, and that's when I saw it. He was wearing a t shirt that said, It's not gonna suck itself. Yeah, I probably would have had a problem with that too. My dad, he would have laughed and then would have been like, I don't think so, you're not wearing that around my daughter. I would be very upset if one of my children wore that to a family dinner with their girlfriend's family. Like, that doesn't make sense to me. Like, why would you do that? I mean, it can't be the only shirt you have, I hope. So anyway, back to the story. I took one look at that shirt and asked him if he had any money. He said no and asked why. I told him that the shirt showed a marked lack of respect for both my daughter and my wife. I pulled two 20s out of my wallet and quietly ushered him back out the door and towards the Walmart 3 miles away and told him to buy a more respectful shirt and come back with it on. Mind you, this whole exchange took place between him and I without an audience. He was gone for 15 minutes, came back with a nice polo shirt on. We had a nice dinner together and nothing was mentioned of the incident. The next day, my daughter came to me and her mother and told us what I did humiliated him. They aren't in breakup territory or anything, and no yelling or anything of the sort went on. My wife did tell me I could have handled it different. So, Reddit, am I wrong for handling it this way? And if so, how could I have handled it? So he did put in a little edit here that he says, I am 57 and a long haul truck driver, so I've had my share of bad moments. Most of us guys here can remember stupid things that we did as a teen, even into our 20s. The ones that stand out for me are the ones where someone didn't react with anger or malice. They were the ones that someone reacted with constructive kindness. One where a quiet redemption was offered, where a mirror was quietly held up to my behavior. Those are the ones I learned from and appreciated the most. Hopefully, he comes out the other side with a new appreciation from kindness and offered quietly and without fanfare. That's my thoughts. I don't think he's the a-hole, in all honesty. I mean, there could have been a million different ways that that was handled. He could have thrown a fit, he could have started yelling, he could have caused a big old scene about it, but he handled it as tactfully as he could while keeping in the fact that, this guy wearing that shirt does not respect his daughter, and he's dating his daughter. Um, Again, like I said, my dad would have laughed about it, but then told him to go change his shirt because, you're not going to wear that around my daughter. So this Reddit post does have a few updates. Awesome. So we can find out what happened. But the top comments here, let's see, you have some comments. Um, So one of the top comments is, "You were very classy about it, and you even gave him the opportunity to get a new shirt instead of just going home and changing, not the a-hole. And paid for the new shirt. Kid probably spent $15 on the shirt, so he's probably up $25 too." Yeah, true. I mean, those polo shirts are not that expensive, but hey, at least he came back with a nicer shirt. Another comment says, "You handled that like a pro, sir. Better man than me. LOL." And a guy replied, another person replied to that person's comment, going, "No kidding, I'd have sent him home saying, when you can dress appropriately, you can come in." Yeah, so this guy handled it phenomenally. Like, he did really good at how he handled that without causing a major scene. On to the first update. After reading these comments and listening to everyone's point of view, I sat my daughter down this morning and asked what her boyfriend actually said to her. This changes my opinion of him. Apparently, he told my daughter what the phrase was on the shirt. But he'd not told my daughter what the phrase was on the shirt, but did tell her accurately what I said to him and asked him to do. He didn't use the word humiliated. That was my daughter's interpretation. Her rush to defend him came from our examples. Apparently, she's took note of times I've defended my wife and vice versa. She also took note of our disagreements in private after the fact. She's going to talk to him when he gets back tomorrow to follow up on why he thought the shirt was appropriate for the family setting. I'll update again after that conversation. And he did. All right, update number 2. My daughter called him about an hour ago, and this will be informative. She asked him why he'd not told her what the shirt said when he talked to her. His reply was telling, because it was embarrassing. Then she went on to ask him why he wore it originally, and he admitted that the shirt had been a gift from his older brother, 21, and that the older brother had dared him to, called him chicken when he objected, etc. Dumb sibling crap, apparently. Yeah, I would have just gone with, well, I'm not chicken when I'm trying to be polite and respectful meeting a family, whether this was their first meeting or not. Dumb sibling crap, apparently. She went on to tell him that none of what he'd done was cool and that she really liked him and that he'd always been kind to her. She said she wasn't breaking up with him, but that these steps needed to be done. First, he needed to explain to his parents the entire situation. Second, he needed to show up in person to our home and bring the money for the shirt. And as she put it, put in a whole kissing session that included the explanation of the dare, etc. She said that if this was handled well, they could talk about moving forward and what that looked like. After the phone call, she talked to her mom and I and admitted that she forgot her worth. She said that as long as she'd been alive, had never gone out of my way to embarrass her mom, and that I'd always been respectful and not let anyone be disrespectful to her. Made me feel good. So she wasn't going to settle for less. Good for her. I'll update after her visit later tomorrow afternoon. You know what? Sometimes that happens. Women, girls, women, we all start to forget our worth, especially if we meet somebody and we really, really like this person or even love them for that matter. And it takes a little bit for us to see our worth. And the fact that she made her dad feel proud, sometimes parents need to be told that they're doing good. I mean, I struggle every day with it. So it's nice that she was able to tell her father that. Next update. This will make those of you following the saga laugh. I received a call this evening from Mr. Boyfriend's parents. Firstly, they are mortified, and that's in all caps, and extremely apologetic. Secondly, and the whole best part of this update, I have their permission to squeal, is that his parents are on Reddit and commented on my post in support of the way I handled the situation. They told me that they love my daughter and that we'd raised her right and had not raised their sons to show this level of disrespect for anyone, let alone his girlfriend. Apparently, boyfriend was following up on one of my daughter's conditions and went to talk to his parents. As the story unfolded, his mom reached for her phone, opened Reddit, and yelled, "Is this about Effing you, to quote his dad, as the son read the first half paragraph. He died a little inside. So, anyways, they are going to come to dinner tomorrow evening with boyfriend. More updates tomorrow night. Oh, that's great. Again, that would be something I would do to my children. If I heard something like that and heard there was a Reddit post about it, oh, I would totally do it. Because come on now. I mean, but then again, I also grew up in a time when, none of this stuff was posted on the internet. So there's no proof. Although it would have been funny to get some of the things my dad did or said on video. It would have been hilarious. All right, update number 4. Dinner was very pleasant, let me say. That his parents are great. Boyfriend showed up with red roses for my daughter and yellow roses for my wife. He offered what I thought was a very sincere apology and a card with the entire $40 in it, even though he'd given me the change and receipt on the original night. Oh, nice. So he wasn't even up the original, like whatever he could have been up. He gave the money back. Well, that was really nice. Some kids wouldn't have done that. I cooked tonight to give my wife a break. I made an Indian dish called butter chicken with basmati rice. Ooh, that sounds good. Maybe I'm a little hungry. Neither had eaten curry before, but loved it. Woo! As it turns out, I love that. As it turns out, older brother is the family athlete, JV soccer, varsity soccer, and a sports scholarship for soccer. The quintessential jock. Little brother is the exact opposite. Artistic. He's got real talent. Sensitive, quiet, and felt like he never measured up to Big Brother, and works to gain Big Brother's respect. Brother takes full example of this and exploits his little brother for giggles. Near the end of dinner, daughter says, I think I'll keep him around for a little longer. You guys okay with that? We are good with that for now. His mom is the boss, though, for thinking outside the box. As punishment to older brother, mom went into his clothing drawers and closet, took every shirt off of him, and bought him 8 very bright pink t-shirts that he'll wear until he realizes just how damaging exploiting anyone is. His access to cash is also cut off until said lesson is learned. Anyway, a successful night with new friends was enjoyed. Hope this was the update you hoped. Oh, that was great. I love that mom. Oh my god. I might actually have to do that to one of my kids if they decide to get disrespectful like that. That's great. We have another small update though. Hey, I love it. Gotta love these updates. Just to give you some info, older brother has been much better for the last little bit and actually enjoys the pink shirts. Apparently his girlfriend likes them and he's got a few compliments. My lovely daughter is more than ready to go back for her spring semester. Boyfriend has been around the house more and very respectful. The two of them read the comments here and she teases them. I know they're technically adults, but my wife and I insist on the door being open in any room they are occupied together. Nothing is derailing her education. Her and her older brother are amazing scholars, and we are immensely proud of them. My wife is a teacher with 30 years' experience, and I'm a truck driver for 25 years. But I'm also educated with a degree in clinical psychology. Anyway, I'm rambling. Take care. Hey, ramble all you want, buddy. I love this story. You're like the ultimate dad. Tiny update. So, just a little one. My daughter, son, and Dee Dee's boyfriend head back to school this next weekend. I miss them immediately when they're gone, but I'm so proud and excited for their future. Boyfriend has been very respectful and shows real kindness. His parents and older brother came for dinner last weekend. Again, we are becoming quick friends, so things are going well. Thank you all so very much from both my wife and I for the kind words. If you see this, Freud's driver, it was great. You handled that so perfectly. I mean, I'm not even totally sure how my dad would have handled it except for laugh and then told him I don't think so. But then again, my dad wore a sweater to school when I was in elementary school and he didn't think anything of it and it basically said happens. It was for it was for an event at school and he didn't have any extra shirts in the vehicle or anything like that. So they told him, sir, you can't wear that shirt. And he's like, well, I don't have anything extra and I live like 45 minutes from here. Like, I can't go change it. And they said, well, just put it inside out. So we put it inside out. It came back laughing because you could still read it. It was just backwards. So you handled this wonderfully though. I really like this story. It was cute. I like the pink t-shirts thing. That was great. So in my opinion, you're not the a-hole. You handled it perfectly. All right, everyone. Next story. This one is from Reddit user no underscore negotiation underscore 3951. And it is titled, Am I the a-hole for keeping my reception venue when I couldn't get a refund? Hmm, probably not. I mean, you paid for the space, so I don't think so. But let's get into the story and see what everybody else has to say. My fiance cheated on me and I found out about 6 weeks ago. I called off already. Sorry to be so matter of fact about it, but I'm still not okay. I managed to get partial refunds on almost everything. The photographer only kept $200 of our deposit. Our church doesn't charge members for using it for weddings, but they also did not allow alcohol in the reception hall, so we booked that separately. That makes sense. I mean, if they don't allow alcohol and you want to have alcohol at your wedding, then you would have to do what you had to do. The venue had a strict policy of not giving back any money without 3 months notice. Since I only gave a month and a half and had paid in full, I was getting nothing back. I was pissed. My brother actually came up with a plan. We held a party with a Mario Kart tournament. We had a huge screen and projector. I knew I had a bunch of friends with that night free, so we did that instead. 20 and 30 something idiots playing a children's game for bragging rights. We had a blast. I felt like I was in college again. I had sent my ex her part of every deposit, but obviously nothing for the venue. I have not heard from her, but the venue wanted me to release the date. I said I would if they gave me a refund. They refused, so I refused. Since we got catering separately, I didn't even need to tip the staff. Now I am hearing that I screwed over the venue and staff by taking up room that they could have rented to a different event. Some people are saying that I kept someone from having a beautiful wedding there. I don't care. I don't own the venue the opportunity to be paid twice. I honestly would have accepted it if they had kept our 30% deposit, but they kept the whole thing. We didn't leave a mess, so they probably saved on janitorial services. So was I the a-hole? I don't think so. I mean, again, like you said, they refused to give you a refund, so you're just using the space. If you're paying for it, you might as well use it. It sounded like you guys had a blast, though. I would have loved to have seen that. I love Mario Kart. Me and my brothers would constantly fight on that game. It was great. Some of the funnier comments. Sounds like they kept someone from. It sounds like they kept someone from having a beautiful wedding there, not the a-hole. You played by their rules, and they're mad they couldn't get double paid. And who plans a wedding with a venue like that in 6 weeks? The venue effed their staff over. The venue did not get effed over. Not the a-hole. The venue manager is. The venue played stupid games and won stupid prizes. They were banking on being able to keep the money and rent it out to someone else too. They are not a charity. They are a business, and you are not a benefactor. You're a customer. You paid, you get to use the venue. End of. Not the a-hole. I totally agree on all that. I agree. You're not the a-hole. You use the venue that you paid for. Just because it wasn't for a wedding doesn't necessarily mean anything. All right, final story for tonight. This one comes from Reddit user normal underscore rise underscore 282, and the title is, Am I the a-hole for telling my husband to go stay in a hotel with my in-laws and that my mom was going to come back to help me with our new baby? I don't know. That depends. Let's get into the story and find out. So I, 28 female, just had my husband, 31 male, and I's first child 7 weeks ago. I had a scheduled induction, so my mom came 2 days before I was induced and stayed with us for the first 6 weeks. She just left last week. She was originally going to just stay for 2 weeks after I gave birth, but she stayed longer because my recovery has been very difficult and I just needed the extra help. My in laws wanted to come visit as soon as the baby was born as well, but they did not want to stay in a hotel, and we have a small house with no guest room, and my mother was sleeping on a pull-out bed in our living room. So there was just no space for anyone else. And so they decided not to come visit until my mother left. They arrived 3 days ago, and it has not gone well. Last night, my mother in law got very upset with me and told me I was ruining her experience as a first time grandma and hogging both the baby and her son after she had to wait weeks and weeks to meet the baby. The background here is that the baby is cluster feeding for the last few days, and I do not feel comfortable breastfeeding in front of my in laws. So I keep taking the baby to our bedroom or the nursery to feed him, and breastfeeding makes me hungry and thirsty. So I keep asking my husband to bring me snacks and water. That makes sense. I've heard from plenty of women that breastfeeding is, it takes a lot out of you. Unfortunately, I was not able to breastfeed my children, but I've heard it takes a lot out of you. So I tried to bring the baby out to interact with my in-laws when he stops feeding for a few minutes, but it is very aggravating to keep covering up and going downstairs just for the baby to cry minutes later and want to feed again. My mother-in-law keeps rolling her eyes and getting annoyed each time I said he had to feed again and go back upstairs, and she kept being like, he can't be hungry, he just ate. And she thinks I just don't want to let her hold him or play with him. And when I ask my husband to bring me snacks and stuff, so she keeps huffing and saying things like, okay, father-in-law and I will just sit here by ourselves. She's not offered me any help the way my mother did. My mom would cook for us like every day, and she would take over baby care for the night when she was staying here, and she would just bring him to me to nurse, but she would burp and change him and get him to sleep for me around 2 nights a week, and it was a lifesaver. My mother-in-law just keeps telling me to give her the baby when I can't because he needs to eat, and not really doing anything to help, and getting mad that I need my husband's help. I told my husband I felt this way after his mom yelled at me last night, and he told me his mom isn't here to help me the way my mom was because she's not my mom. She's there to meet her grandson, and he wanted to spend the next few days introducing his child to his parents, not just making me snacks and then sitting around watching TV with his parents, waiting for me to finish breastfeeding so they can see the baby. Excuse me. He told me he's been looking forward to his parents meeting the baby since the birth, and it's been disappointing it's going this way. I told him I feel like I don't know how to please anyone because I just can't feed my son. I don't want to be miserable and hungry and thirsty when I'm breastfeeding, and I really don't think making me a snack plate and filling up my water bottle takes that long and is taking away that much time that my in-laws could be spending with my husband. And he's the only person I can ask to do it because my mom left, so now he needs to help me. I exploded at him and told him they can all just leave and get a hotel room and my mom can come back to help me because at least she does things to help me and doesn't shame me for trying to breastfeed. He told me he couldn't believe I would say that and that I knew his parents don't like hotels, but they would go stay in one then. And they all went and got rooms at the Holiday Inn in our town, and I spent the night alone with the baby for the first time and got no sleep. I called my mom crying, and she's on her way to help me now, but now I feel like I might have made a huge mistake by telling them all to leave. But I felt like I was going to scream, and I just want my mom to come back. He has not texted or called to check on me or the baby at all since they left last night. Am I the a-hole for telling them to go to the hotel? I don't even need to read the comments to answer this one. I'm gonna tell you right now. No, you're not. It's just ridiculous. In all honesty, there shouldn't have been anybody there seeing the baby in the first couple weeks anyway. That way you could have that bonding time with your child and get used to taking care of your child. Besides you and your husband. And the fact that your husband hasn't even called or texted since it happened is just it's mind blowing to me. So no, you're not the a-hole. Again, I don't even need to read the comments to know this, but they all kind of agree with me. So that's it for tonight, guys. I hope you enjoyed my very first video. Again, I'm sorry for the glare. I'm sorry for the computer screen on my glasses and everything. I promise I am working on getting those fixed. I'm going to do a little bit more research. I just wanted to get this video up while I had the chance because we are under a winter storm warning here in Missouri right now, and there's a lot of snow outside. So I'm eventually going to have to go and figure out how I'm going to get home tonight if I'm going home tonight. So wish me luck. Please hit that subscribe button and please tell me what you think of it. The 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 Reddit posts are linked in the description below, so that way you can go look at them yourself, read them, comment on them, whatever you want to do. As always, until the next time I see you guys, until we meet again. Bye.